What's good, everybody? We're now in the mix. It's your big dog here, 6 Shot Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, no Leah, aka the therapist, which I know how we do. We always hold it down, no matter what. What's going on, everybody? You're now in the mix. YouTube mixiners, man, what's going on? We appreciate you guys getting in the mix with us. We missed y'all last week, but you know, last week was a good week. Chapter 32 for the bro.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Came back with a tan.
My skin tan and my hair long. My friends have been so patient. Me and kids is back to work, but we still smell like on vacation. Let's get it.
Yo, bro is back. Did you enjoy your birthday?
Oh yeah, I did. You know, 32. I like even numbers though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So 32 is gonna be a good year.
All right.
I was gonna say it's a Magic year, but Magic Johnson was a wild boy.
Yeah, that was a wild guy. That was a wild guy. Damn, who else was number 32?
Jim Brown was number 32.
Jim Brown was a beast at 32.
Miami Shaq was a 32.
He definitely was.
He a wild boy too.
Damn, I'm trying. I feel like there was other players who was number 32, man. Wasn't Ricky Waters number 32?
Might have been number
I
32.
think he might have been 32.
He might have been number 32.
Either way, man. What's
Jim Brown though.
That's a fact. What you looking to accomplish in year 32?
So the year 32, you know, it gotta be a big year. Every year gotta be bigger than the last.
Oh yeah.
So it's gotta be more life. It's gotta be more wealth.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be more peace.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Peace and happiness. It's gotta be more of that, just more of that. And drive, discipline, and consistency.
I like that.
Because, you know, I always feel like it's no better time than now to do the stuff that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being the case, it's like I feel like if you give your year, because essentially that's my new year. If you give your year a theme, you're more likely to accomplish certain goals. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself. The only results you get is based on the consistency that you get, and you need the discipline to have that consistency. So
Okay.
I'm in the driver's seat.
I like that.
Let's get it.
I like
I
that.
might have just dropped some jewels on y'all though. We gonna
Definitely did, man. Definitely
y'all
did. Shout out to the sponsors, man. Rich King brand, as y'all can see, I'm in my Rich King wave right now. You know, had to match it with the patent leathers. If y'all ain't get to see that,
That's a good pair right there.
Yeah, that's a great pair right there, man. I felt like I had to throw something out. You know, and shout out to Wine O'Clock as well. I see, bro, repping your Chicago Cubs.
Oh yeah. You know, cause it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend.
No doubt. We'll touch on that for y'all a little bit. We got some shop talk for y'all. So this is going to be a great discussion. I feel like we got a little more to discuss as well. Shit. Man, let's just jump right into it, man. Like, where do we even begin?
You know, if y'all got any people in New York City and Brooklyn in particular, send some prayers up to the people in Brooklyn because it just went down up there, and we still don't even really know what happened though. Like it was a shooting. From what I'm hearing about, it was like a shooting or something like that. They think it was some explosives or something too, but it was like 16 people hurt, 10 people shot, and
the person from what I believe that's been going on with reports as well is that the person is still at large.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. That's tough.
From what I was hearing and from what I've been seeing, they've been saying that they have like some images of the suspect or who they think is a suspect. What they call it right there, the person of interest.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And
so the person is looking for
Frank
James. And he rented a U-Haul truck found near the scene of the shooting in Brooklyn. It's to be unclear if he's in connection to the event.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with fam or whatever's going on.
Right.
You know how when the media and stuff like this happens, you don't get answers quick enough, which I understand. They still investigating and all that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy though, because if it was some type of terroristic thing, I feel like depending on the cause or something, they might be trying to sweep it under the rug or whatever the case might have been. I don't know. I just know, I checked on all my people in Brooklyn and all of that, made sure they was good, their families and all of that was good. Yeah, and for the families that were affected, send prayers up for them too. Definitely. I don't think anybody was killed though.
They didn't say any folks were killed, so that's a good thing. Folks were just hurt.
Yeah, I don't
sucks. Especially early in the morning, you traveling to work or traveling home, and
so packed in New York City.
Yeah, anyway. always, man. And especially when especially when you're a parent, you probably leave out before your child, and your child uses the train as transportation to get to and from school. So I mean, that's also a scary event in itself. So just sending prayers out to the folks out in Brooklyn, man, our peoples out there. This is crazy. Hopefully they catch whoever did this soon. Throw their asses away and do what needs to be done.
Do what needs to be done, man.
Yeah, because people's lives were at stake there, man. That's a tough situation, to be honest with you, man. It's a scary situation too. So just be safe out there. Prayers up again to our folks out in Brooklyn. Moving on, man. I feel like we have so much sad news to present. And it's just it is really tough. Do we get into that next, or do we?
Before we get into that,
I feel like we're always presenting some sad news, man.
Before we get into the sad news, because we gotta. Before we get into the sad news, we gotta update the people. Mm-hmm. Remember, we talked about Will Smith.
We did.
Rocking all of that.
We did.
You know, I still feel like, you know, what he did is a viable reaction. Mm-hmm. It's other reaction that could have been just viable, but that was one. And then you got to be prepared for the consequences of your actions with anything, which I'm sure he's prepared for. But of course, he is a black man that did something on a white platform, so there are some consequences from that might not be fair in my eyes. Like, first of all, you know how I felt when I was like, I didn't have to check myself because I wasn't affected by it. You slap somebody, I've seen people get slapped 1,000 times.
Right. Definitely seen that.
Of course, they're going to make a big deal out of it because he's black and he's an actor, and they were at the Oscars, which is like, so what to all of that? Mm-hmm. Because he's human, just like everybody else. Yeah. But, you know, it's been some repercussions coming from that. Like, you know, 10 years, he's banned, you know, pretty much.
10 years.
10 years from it. And then there's been a whole bunch of like people that's like apparently like pulling back on films that they were scheduled to start making with him. Like they were saying that they canceled Bad Boys 4, which some of the stuff, you know, don't quote me on it. It's just some stuff that we hear. Some of the stuff we do has been confirmed. Apparently he had a biographical film that they were trying to make, and that's been canceled. The movie that he was doing for Netflix, which I said before, they tried to say was they were looking for a new director for it, but now it's like on the back burner. Some of the stuff they saying canceled, some of them just like postponed or whatever the hell. But all of this stuff, you know, is resounding from this situation. Apparently, they was supposed to be trying to make I Am Legend 2. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to do that anymore. He was expelled from the Academy of Sciences and Cinematic Arts, which, remember, he resigned from the Academy at the Oscars, but this one he was expelled. Like, they fired him. He didn't resign from this one. I don't want to dig too deep into his wedding or his marriage or nothing like that, but I haven't heard really anything from Jada. I know he was defending her, you know what I'm saying, but it seems like in a situation like this, I don't want to be too critical of her, but it does seem like you would need to hear something from her publicly to back up her husband, because, you know, it's a lot of backlash coming from this, and I know it's affected him because he is human.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been a lot of folks. There's been a lot of folks who've been like, you know, resurfacing like old clips and old videos of stuff where, you know, Jada said like she never really wanted to get married, or how she came out and close source said that she came out and said like she wish Will never did that. She doesn't need no one to defend her and all of that. So it's just
even with that, I don't think anything was ever confirmed from that, because what's the close source? Who's the close source?
Right.
That's supposed to mean.
But even still, the fact that you still haven't came out and said
anything, that's what I was saying. Like, at least something to defend your husband or something like that. I don't know.
Here's where it's just, again, as you mentioned before, you know, you have to be prepared for the consequences, right? But I feel as though the consequences for that are a bit harsh. As you mentioned, black man, white platform, you know they're going to do the extreme. We all know this, ladies and gentlemen. And it sucks because slap gets you 10 years banned, right? shit that Harvey Weinstein had done over the years. Never once got banned.
Never once. They actually did a lot to try to like make that seem like it wasn't as bad
Right.
as it was.
Right.
And it was way a million times worse than a slap. So we already know how that goes.
Right. There was never talks of, him having to return any of the awards that he won.
Anything, any of that.
So it's just crazy to me. I sit back and I'm always thinking about, like, when it comes to white people and the things that they do, they either find it, hilarious, or, it's part of the show. Whatever it is, there's always something with it, right?
Absolutely.
But when it comes to black people, it's like, it's 1,000 times worse. We've seen it even in sports. If a black person, matter of fact, prime example, OBJ, Super Bowl winning champion OBJ. We already know how he gets. He's dedicated to the game. He loves the sport. So when his emotions flare up, they look at that as a sign of acting out, being a locker room problem, right?
Problem.
When a white person does it, it's passion. It's the passion there, it's the fire. They love that. They
praise
it. They praise it. But it's just crazy how they separate the two, and it's just like a big difference that the media portrays when it comes to white people, when it comes to black people. And again, you all have to be, ready for the consequences at hand. But the fact that 10 years from the Oscars, again, we've been screaming fuck the Oscars. They were never for us anyway. But whatever, we still gonna keep screaming it. And on top of that, I also gotta think the folks that are now backing out of these projects, I'm pretty sure y'all have worked with, a lot more difficult, a lot worse.
It's always like that.
Yeah.
I just hate that they act like Will Smith ain't Will Smith.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, okay, you mad that he slapped somebody? Okay, cool. The world will get over it. It was very, very light. It's a slap.
Yeah.
And Will Smith is still one of the greatest to ever do it.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
let's not try to act like he's not that just because you mad he slapped somebody. We're like, relax.
Mm-hmm. I just think at this point, it's kind of like, because you have to really think, that was trending for a good week and a half or so.
That's what I'm saying. At
that point, nobody is really talking about it anymore. It's kind of like everyone's really on Jada's ass, because it's like, damn, Jada, where you at? You're not speaking up for your man. You're not doing this for your man. People bringing up again, comments that have been made. Even the whole, Willow writing a letter to Tupac for whatever reason.
Of course. This is all stuff, the backlash of the stuff that we know is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because everybody like, bro, you didn't defend this woman, and this is the type of stuff that has happened over the years.
And it's just like, it's like, damn. What else? What else? But
it's all good though, man.
When there's a will, there's a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's a whole fact. And
you still are a legend.
Hell yeah.
You still are a legend.
And Will definitely won't be down for long. There will be folks who will still be willing to do projects with them. If they don't, it's their loss.
If they will, if they won't, Will is still going to be Will.
Definitely.
Lord willing.
And whoever they think they'll look to replace Will for that certain role, I guarantee it won't be the same, and they won't body it the way Will will body a role.
It's all good.
We've seen it, but it's all good, man. So we just gonna keep staying strong for Will. Will, we support you, bro. We over in the mix. Well, Chi-Town's Finest and we support you. I don't know more so Leah. She kind of wasn't feeling you slapping. I don't know. So F and Classy, you down for the cause? You rocking with Will? Oh yeah. So F and Classy is so we
riding with him. Keep his guards up.
It's a whole fact, man. We ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life.
Bad boys for life. That's what you got to be. Bad boys for life.
Hell yeah, man. Bad boys for life, man.
And now, moving on. because we got this was some tragic news that happened over the week.
Yeah, some crazy news to wake up to over the weekend. Prayers up. First, we're going to take a moment of silence for family and friends of Dwayne Haskins, Steelers quarterback. They were all in Florida, so we just want to take a quick moment of silence for him. Prayers up, man. That was some heartbreaking news to wake up to over the weekend. See a young black man, making a name for himself. Mike Tomlin took him in, and he really saw something in him. And I honestly really I saw something in him as well. I feel as though when he got drafted to Washington, he was placed in a system that wasn't really meant for him, right? And when you're placed in an organization to where that organization is going to, take their time and really work with you and develop you. I felt like he was getting that with the Pittsburgh Steelers as well as Mike Tomlin. I feel like you could relate, especially, you being a young black man, being coached by a black head coach in the league, because it's not very many of us in a league to begin with, which is also crazy that we haven't really talked about either, but we'll touch on that a little bit later as far as one of the rules that were made that teams now have to implement diversity. We didn't get to touch on that, but we definitely going to speak on that. But yeah, it's just it was sad, man. It was extremely sad, man. And we all know when it comes to reported news, especially when it comes to tragic news, when it comes to black folks, we all know how they always do us and portray us in the media. It's never good. It's kind of like they try to pick up some type of bad and add that into the post. For no reason. It has nothing to do with anything. Person just lost their life, and that's what you're thinking about, right? So we're going to touch on Adam Schefter, who's also going to get a Whose Mans Is This?
Man, because Chef been fucking up lately, man.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is that it's such a tricky thing, because in order to be a highly reliable source throughout sports, it takes a lot to get to that point.
Right.
And I would say that Chef has done enough to get to that point. Mm-hmm. And I think nowadays, I always say that one of the things that's killing journalism is people trying to be first more than trying to be accurate or being correct or whatever the case might be. So in this situation, it was when we got the news, everybody's devastated, because it's he's 24 years old.
Right.
He was about to be 25
next month. Yeah.
So it was he was young, and then on top of that, he was down there training with his new teammates, trying to get better, you know what I'm saying? So it's anything football related is that's the most important thing. He was, no matter what, we know his path. We know what he did at Ohio State. We know what he did as a professional in the NFL. And we know what he was looking forward to. Your organization, like you said, y'all picked him up and y'all see the potential. I think Mike Tomlin would have did a great job with him.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of this tragedy, it's him being such a popular source and known for being a reliable source. What he says has to be very intricate, because it got to be accurate, because he's known for being accurate. But then it also can't be what it was. He mentioned his struggles when he was in Washington, and
that was the first thing.
The first thing you say.
The first thing you mentioned.
You mentioned something negative in this situation, and it's bro, when you do stuff like that, the timing of stuff is more important. So it's you almost can't even be bro, we're gonna let you. You can't let that pass.
Right.
And this isn't the first. It's been a couple other times he's done something like this, just to say something immediately. And matter of fact, he was the one that said the shit at first about Tom Brady retiring before Tom Brady did. And remember, Brady had to come through and be I didn't say that shit. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's maybe he needs to. I don't want to just be oh, he's just a terrible person off the rip. Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't been known for being that. But
yeah,
he's fucked up majorly a few times just this year alone, and it's only April. He might need to take like a little quick break or something like that, man.
And he issued an apology, and it was kind of like, I felt as though he only issued that apology because a lot of people were on his head about his insensitive tweet. Because it's like, yo, regardless of his struggles, leave all of that out. Because had that have been a white quarterback, if that would have been Tom Brady,
that's what I'm saying,
it would have been so much positivity within that tweet. You know, what is Tom Brady, like seven-time Super Bowl champion,
all the accolades,
all of his accomplishments, and it's, again, the media the white media will say, loves to portray black people with the negatives first, right? I remember it was one year with the NFL draft. Had nothing to do with anything. For whatever reason, they felt the need to mention about Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins' mother being a crackhead in the past.
Like
what did that have to do with anything? Nothing. It's just the fact that white media loves to catch all of that about black folks. Like, no matter what.
They want to leave that impression. Like, it's like, okay, all of this, but this is what we really thought about it. And the crazy part about it is that, like, the reason why you can't, even with an apology, you still can't give that no excuse is because, like, I mean, Adam Schefter is white. You know what I'm saying? So a part of, I really think that has a part to do with it. Like, it's like he just couldn't help it.
Right.
Like, no matter what we want to think of, he's a good person or a bad person, stuff like that, he just can't help it. Especially being in the media and knowing that the media is already like this. The media then trained him to be who he is. So when he did it, I'm sure he immediately didn't realize there was anything wrong with it. He just did it and was just like, it's what it is. And afterwards, everybody like, why the fuck is you saying it? He had to be told that was a bad thing.
Exactly.
And that's what, to me, that's crazy. Why somebody got to tell you to speak about somebody like that, a young man at that, after he just died tragically. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
It was really crazy. But he wasn't the only white person.
He definitely
had something to say. There was another reporter, NFL reporter, who had something to say. Gil Brandt.
Oh yeah. Nah, he gotta get slapped. I ain't gonna lie, folks. We canceling people for slapping him.
And it was just insane. The fact that you're going in on a young man who just lost his life. His family and friends are grieving at this. And what you had to say was, this young man was living to be dead and should have stayed in school longer.
See what I'm saying?
What does that have to do with anything about this young man losing his life?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing
Like,
at all.
Like you saying, he deserved it. First of all, it was a tragedy what happened. Apparently, he was, I guess, car ran out of gas or something on the expressway, I-595 in Florida, and he got hit by like I think it was a dump truck or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it was a dump truck
on the expressway, which is, tragic. Like, and it's ridiculous because stuff like that happens. Like, and for him to make that comment after that, it's like, for one, it clearly shows that you have no remorse for what happened to this man. You acting like you personally knew him, like he did something to you personally.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's like you trying to justify like that's what he get. Like, he deserved it. And that's
because he didn't stay in school longer. What is him having? So if he would have stayed in school longer, you're saying that he wouldn't have.
He would have. A tragedy wouldn't have happened if he'd like. What are you talking about? Another person
again,
get slapped.
I truly don't get it when it comes to white media and how they just portray black people, especially when it comes to a tragedy. It's insane to me. So he will also be getting a who's man to this because
you definitely gotta get one.
It's crazy. And to be honest with you, I'm glad a lot of NFL players said something, tweeted out about Adam Schefter, because at the end of the day, and I think it was Dez Bryant who had said something about like, you know, at the end of the day, this is how they actually look at athletes.
Yeah,
and it's true.
Yeah.
Like it's extremely true. Like no
It
matter
always
what,
shows. It always shows in time.
this is exactly how they truly look at you as just being an athlete. They don't look at you as being a father, brother, a sibling. They don't look at you as a person. They don't carry it up.
Everything
at
that's
all.
relative to you has to do with football. So it's like if he was struggling in the NFL, that's what I got to talk about when he died. Like, come on,
Right.
man. He was way more than just what he was in freaking 17 games. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. So that's just sad, man. But again, you know, we're sending our condolences and prayers out to the family and friends of Dwayne Haskins, to the Steelers organization. His future was definitely looking bright. And the fact that, you know, he was just, seeing videos, he was just this outgoing person. Everyone enjoyed being around him. Yeah, man, it's just sad. It's extremely sad.
Yeah, man. Still, of course, you know, prayers up to that man's family, though, his friends and his teammates and everybody else that had love for that man. We had love for you right here in the mix, Dwayne Haskins.
Facts.
And may you rest peacefully. And a big middle finger to Chef, unfortunately, and an even bigger middle finger to the, I don't even want to say his name, but yeah. And so, you know what I'm saying, even moving on from that, you know, from a tragedy, you know what I'm saying, we can go on to another sport. Y'all see I got my Cubs jersey on. I mentioned this
Representing, man. You represent.
So the baseball, the MLB, they ended their lockout. You know what I'm saying? They finally reached an agreement not too long ago, so they was able to have their opening day.
Okay.
Because remember, they originally got pushed back. It was supposed to start last weekend, but it started this weekend. You know what I'm saying? And my Cubs, you know, they came through, did what they needed to do. The funniest thing is on opening day, they cleared the benches. It was almost a brawl in there at Wrigley Field.
Damn.
Which I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like what better way than to pull up in Chicago of all places for opening day. If you don't gotta send that shit up, they had to send it up. The crazy part about it was that I ain't gonna lie. It was our fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was our fault. It's all good.
So the Cubs gotta get them whose man's is this?
I don't want to give them whose man's is this.
So
you
they,
know what I'm saying?
they won the fight and the game?
But you know, it was we definitely won a fight.
But y'all lost the game.
And we was up. We won the game too. We was
Oh,
up.
all right.
We won, but it was just like, you know, our pitcher, he hit one of their players with the ball, and he was kind of chippy, like, "Come on, bro, what the fuck, whatever." And then even the back catcher was kind of talking to him, and he was talking crazy. And then a couple people from Milwaukee's bench came over there. So of course the players from the Cubs bench just getting them like, "We don't even know what's going on, but what's up? What's up?"
They wanted all the smoke.
Yeah, you
Opening
know what I'm
day.
saying? We was up 9-0.
Damn.
When it happened. We ended up beating them 9-0 that game too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was the game in Chicago. You know, so we had to do what we had to do.
What's your predictions?
So my
For this
predictions.
season? Cause you root for the Cubs and the White Sox, right?
Cause
I know Chi-Town's finest is from Chicago.
You know,
He got two baseball teams.
I'm on my Chicago over everything and stuff. That's how I do.
Okay.
They got two baseball teams in the shot. I'm a South Sider. I'm from the South Side, so I'm supposed to root for the White Sox. But I started watching baseball when Sammy Sosa was having a home run king battle with Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
And he was on the Cubs. And I was just like, I like the Cubs. And we got it's Chicago too. So I was rooting for them. So if they play against each other, I gotta rock with my Cubs, but I rock with both of them if need.
Okay.
If I gotta choose one, of course, I'm choosing the Cubs. But you know.
Gotcha.
But I think that both teams are gonna be okay. I think they both gonna be okay. They last season they did alright. You know, both of them had a chance where they actually could have ended up playing against each other. If they would have been well enough, they could have played against each other in the World Series. But they both got eliminated on some bullshit early on, which was like whatever. So I mean, hopefully they can both do better. If they both make the playoffs this year, I'll be fine and they can make a push. So I'm looking to see how it might be around July, August. That's when a lot of good teams end up coming into their form and pushing through.
Okay.
But the other teams they got to look out for, of course, like, you know, the team in LA. The Dodgers was looking good. There's a couple other players that made some big moves. You know, the MLB, they be having super duper fat contracts. So, I mean, as of right now, though, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make no big predictions like that, you know, the White Sox could potentially win their division. You know, Houston, they on the fence. They good, but they've been cheat. They've been caught cheating.
Cheating, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
in the past, so we're gonna see how they do. But other than that, you know, we're just gonna have to see them stay tuned.
Okay.
I have to break out my baseball caps and stuff all here, you know. So
all right.
that's how we do.
Moving on, man, because we got some play-ins. But before we get into the play-ins,
Oh yeah. Shout out to the WNBA.
shout out to the ladies out here, man.
Ladies out here holding down, because even though it ain't March no more, we still hold it down for the ladies.
Hell yeah,
They
man.
just had their draft.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it, the Dream?
Yep.
The Atlanta Dream.
Atlanta Dream.
Number 1 pick, Ryan Howard from Kentucky. Which she was like, I think she was like 2-time player of the year. So she's gonna be alright. I think she gonna come straight into the league and she gonna be a star.
Mm-hmm.
I think she gonna be a star. Is this is these the draft picks?
Yeah, this is the list right here. Then the second pick was Nalissa Smith out of Baylor.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be a power forward. She's already a beast. And Baylor was nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know
definitely was. Shakira Austin out of Ole Miss.
She gonna hold it down, and she's one of them. She one of them players that she played at Ole Miss, so she had to, like, you know, for her to be the number 3 pick, she's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and then we have here Emily.
What's that?
Inkstier out of
Oh,
Louisville.
yeah, she gonna be a monster out of Louisville.
Naira Sabali out of Oregon.
Center, holding it down.
Lexi Hall out of Stanford.
I like Lexi Hall though. I don't know if they've seen Stanford play, but she's alright.
I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm actually surprised that wasn't like some players in the from SC like in the top 5 or so.
Oh yeah.
I'm really surprised about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised I don't see no UConn players in the whole joint yet.
Right.
We got Veronica Burton from Northwestern, pick number 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Number 8, Maya Hollingshed from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Ray Burrell from Tennessee. Shout out to Pat Summitt, that's Tennessee. That's her old, you know, joint. Rest in peace to Pat Summitt, the legend.
Right, the legend right there. We got Queen Egbo out of Baylor. Baylor holding it down, man. Baylor really be
Baylor,
producing.
I'm telling you, Baylor nice.
Hell yeah, man.
Kirsten Bell.
Kirsten Bell out of Florida Gulf Coast. Okay, that's what's up. And Nia Clouden out of Michigan State.
Oh yeah. I like Michigan State. Michigan State.
So those are like the first 12 picks in the first round of the WNBA draft. So shout out to those ladies, man. And they're getting to start a new path in their careers. So that's major. Pay the ladies in the WNBA. That's number 1.
Oh yeah, we need them to get their bread.
We still screaming free Brittany Griner because she's still held over there in no man's land.
Yeah, we ain't forgot it.
We ain't forget.
Forgot.
We definitely ain't forget. But we need to get her back over here ASAP. And ladies, again, we're going to keep putting on for y'all and keep representing. So hold it down. Go out there, play big, make some big money. Again, pay those ladies. But, you know, it's all about viewership too, man. You got to get out there and just keep watching and support the ladies out there, man. Now, it's now time for some play-in talk, which some players didn't like when it came down to it. Lakers, their play-in discussions was anyway.
They got eliminated.
They got eliminated.
So check this out.
They got a lot to work on.
Let me break it down for the Knicksers out there, how the NBA, because this is NBA, it's playoff time, the playoffs is here.
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA, right, they've created a new system where the top 6 seeds in each conference, they're locked in for the playoffs. So in the Eastern Conference, number 1 Miami, number 2 Boston, number 3 Milwaukee, number 4 Philly, number 5 Toronto, number 6 Chicago Bulls. In the Western Conference, and locked in at the number 1 seed overall in the NBA with a franchise record for the most wins. Phoenix Suns, number 2 the Memphis Grizzlies, which they stunned everybody being number 2. They also got the number 2 best record in the NBA. Number 3 Golden State Warriors, number 4 Dallas Mavericks, number 5 Utah Jazz, and number 6 the Denver Nuggets. So now, boom, we get to the play-in. The play-in is the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th seeds in the NBA. And what happens is the 7th seed plays against the 8th seed. Whoever wins that game is locked in as the number 7 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th seed and the 10th seed whoever wins that game plays the loser of the game between the 7th and the 8th seed. And then whoever wins that last game, they get the 8th seed. And they make it to the playoffs. The other team get eliminated. So now, in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets are the number 7 seed. They played against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which are the number 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th and 10th seeds is Atlanta and Charlotte. So it's looking like, because the game is on, it's looking like Brooklyn is going to beat them. They're going to be locked in for another 7 seed.
Okay.
And it's going to be between, I think Atlanta is going to beat Charlotte. And I think that they mess around and beat Cleveland and make it to the playoffs.
I want to see Charlotte. I want to see Charlotte win.
I like
Charlotte.
I like Charlotte. They could do it. If they do it and they stun and they make it, they still got to play against probably Cleveland.
Yeah.
And Cleveland Cleveland been playing well. Cleveland was number 3 for a good portion of the season.
They were.
You know what I'm saying? They got the same record as the Nets right now.
This is actually the best they've looked without a LeBron James or Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. And the craziest part about it though is that if they make it as an AFC, whoever makes it an AFC, got to play against the Miami Heat, probably going to lose. The scary part over in the Eastern Conference is that Brooklyn is going to be the number 7 seed, it's looking like. And if they are the number 7 seed, they have to play against the Boston Celtics.
That's going to be a good series.
It's going to be a great series.
That's going to be a good series right there.
Because remember, Kyrie is cleared
Mm-hmm.
to play everywhere.
Yeah.
Home and away, and Kevin Durant is ready. He's been ready.
Yeah.
And I don't quote me on it, but last I heard, Ben Simmons might have been cleared for the first round. He wasn't cleared for the play-in, but I think he was cleared for the first round. So they might, he might appear in
Make
this
his
playoffs.
debut.
But regardless, though, who in the world wants to see a number 7 seed Brooklyn Nets? That's scary, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
the first round's supposed to be easy for you. They got out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
And then in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing against the Clippers. I think the Clippers might win that. Paul George is back.
Yeah. PG is back.
And if they do, they're going to be locked in as the 7th seed. They got to play Memphis, which again can be scary because just last year, the Clippers was in the Western Conference Finals, and Playoff P earned his name back as Playoff P.
Oh, yeah.
Very well. And Memphis is a young team. They got a lot of heart, and they're real good, but they don't have any playoff experience over there.
They don't.
The 9th and the 10th seed is New Orleans and San Antonio. Now, New Orleans and San Antonio. New Orleans has been playing decent. San Antonio, they got some. They got a potential most improved candidate player on their team. DeJounte Murray. But they also got Greg Popovich, who is the all-time winningest coach in NBA history. So that could very well be scary because they could beat them and then mess around and beat Minnesota, who's another 7 seed, quote unquote, right now, and make it to the playoffs, which they would still lose to Phoenix, though.
Oh, I guess. Oh, my God.
Phoenix not losing to nobody for real.
Right.
So, I mean, we going to see.
We definitely
It's
gonna
just
see.
playoff predictions right there. Play-in predictions. When the playoffs officially get the season locked in, we going to check back in with y'all. we going to give y'all an update on some real predictions right there.
That's a whole fact, man. But moving on,
It's time.
because before we jump into the shop talk, because we got a good shop talk for y'all, we got to talk about somebody who's facing some heat.
Okay.
He's a free agent quarterback. I feel like sometimes Cam, he just doesn't know the right things to say or how to word it correctly for folks to understand. And we all know during his days in Carolina when he made the comment to the young lady reporter who was talking about who knew her stuff about football, and he was like, he referred to her as a female, like, oh, a female.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
They was on his ass about that.
Yeah, they was on his ass about that.
You
Now,
gotta
on
be
this
careful.
one,
You gotta be careful.
yeah, no, on this one, he was on someone's podcast, and he made a comment about, what was it? So I don't want to quote it incorrectly for y'all. Let's see here. It was some messed up comments. Well, to a lot of folks, they felt like it's messed up. So he said it was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, which was released on Monday. He complained about women who can't cook and don't know when to be quiet. Cam. He also said, now a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? Newton said on the podcast, and I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, I'm this, I'm that, no baby, but you can't cook. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead. Now I understand when it comes to a preference that you may have in a woman or what you like, right? Everybody's entitled to that, okay? But I also think you have to think about what you're going to say before you actually speak it out loudly, right? What's your take on what he had to say?
So this is like one of them situations when a person like put their own foot in their fucking mouth. So the thing about Kim saying what he's saying is that like it's one of those things where him choosing that to be like the thing to say, like when he said it in particular, makes it seem like that is like the priority of what he feels like a woman is supposed to do and be, or whatever the case. Because right. it sucks because we know that like in every relationship, you know what I'm saying, there's a time and place to let a man lead, just like it's a time and place to let a woman do her thing, lead or whatever. Like you want to talk about cooking, either person can cook. We already know that doesn't even mean a thing. Right. So now when you say it like that, it's like this is what you think it just is. Yeah. Like first and foremost, let a man lead and cater to a man's needs and shut up. And that sounds extremely misogynistic. It's ridiculous. And it's like him trying to say it like he's gonna back him up, like, hey, like this is what it is, right? Am I right? It makes him sound like it sounds goofy, bro.
Now he like, may have some men who may actually agree with him and on his side
because they gonna think just like him. They in the same boat as him.
Yeah, but there's also the men who don't think like him, who don't agree with it, and it's kind of like, bro,
It sucks even more though because like. To an extent, it's like you can see where he was trying to get because it is a lot of like people out there that know that there's women that don't do anything, but they still consider themselves a boss bitch, like he said.
Right. Bad. It's kind of like our discussion 2 weeks ago when we were like, you know, what makes you the table?
Yeah.
What do you bring to the table?
And it's like, you know, he sees glimpses into that culture, but I'm not going to put words into his mouth and say that that's what he meant because he turned around and said, you don't know when to be quiet, and that actually applies to him in this exact situation when he don't know when to be quiet, and it's like, that's just ironic right there. So it's like, Cam, bro, you got to do better, bro. You got to do better with that at all. We don't know what's gotten into you, but hold it down because you're going to hold yourself up.
Right.
And we not gonna dig too deep into you because you're a black man and we ain't finna tear no brother down. But we gotta call you out and you gotta do better with that, dog. That's all.
Come on, Cam. We might have to give you a whose man's is this too.
He definitely won.
You gotta get a whose man's is this.
Not because he cheated on his. Then he cheated on his girlfriend and had a baby on her. Like all types of stuff. Like come on now.
Yeah.
His hair look brazy. Dress kind of brazy on top of that. I just want to sprinkle that in there, just because you gotta get a whose man's for the whole kid and caboodle.
Yeah. So Cam, do better, fam. And then we're going to leave it on that note. We're going to turn things over to Chi-Town's finest, Carlton Your Dig, because the bro is back, but he's also been keeping his ears to them streets. And I know he had a lot of folks hitting him up to keep him clippers to them heads as well.
Yeah. So check it out. You know what I'm saying? Last time I spoke to y'all, I was a little bit younger than what I am right now. And even though this time I'm speaking to y'all and I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser. I still keep them clippers to them heads as I keep my ears to them streets. And so check it out, because we got something that we definitely got to discuss. Because it's another case, you know, I gotta hold it down for the guys out here. So we just, you know, I want to say last week, there's a guy named Christian Ogunselli, and he was killed by his white girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I guess like she was like some type of influencer or something like that. Or she was rich, you know, she come from money, whatever. And she stabbed him. Like, she stabbed him to death. right? And the woman's name is Courtney Tyler, because we gotta call her out too. Courtney Tyler. And apparently, like, you know what I'm saying, she was like at the airport or something like that, and she was like drenched in his blood. And the police aren't really trying to get any justice for him. Like, I'm talking about, they pretty much said that, like, you know, she didn't do it. Like, they don't have any evidence that it's like something wrong in like 24 hours, which we know an investigation takes longer than that. And we've seen this before in other case when they was like, it seems like a good guy. Like we don't get too much into that either. But the case is that this woman killed him, and like she's had a history of like abuse and stuff like that towards him, and they're trying to act like she's just okay, or like, you know, something else might have happened to him, whatever the case might be. And aside from that right there, that's the injustice that we facing right there, trying to get some type of justice for this man.
You're right.
Because he was killed by this white woman, and it seems like they're gonna let her get away with it. But after that, because I guess this is like the thing that they do on social media nowadays, when for anybody, for any reason, they just kind of dig up old tweets and old stuff that people say or whatever, and then they use it against them when it comes to certain situations.
They definitely do that.
And so we know that sometimes, like, you know, it is warranted, because, you know, it's warranted. Sometimes people are different, they're younger, they're dumber, they whatever, and for 1,000 different reasons. So, you know, you can either accept it and move on, accept an apology or not, whatever the case. So this same guy, Christian Toby Ogunselli, he has some older tweets of him like pretty much speaking against being black, speaking against black women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of self-hate, a lot of colorist stuff, a lot of stuff that was just like, you know, doesn't date black women. He don't like black women. I can read a couple of them.
This world by a black woman.
I'm gonna read a couple of them. Okay. I don't want to read too many of them. One of them says, I can't believe one of my followers thinks I talk to black girls when I don't. From January 2012. Wow. The way black girls disgrace themselves on TV. March 2012. Black girls aren't the only ones who can cook in the world. First of all.
Hell yeah.
Yes, they are. Shout out to the black girls that can cook. He's wild. But
facts. Oh my gosh.
But you know what I'm saying? Just these are some of the stuff that he was saying. And people are speaking against him. He even said, I love white people. You know, he likes white. I'm not gonna speak about the TV part, but it's another part where he said something about like him wanting to be like, he said, all the characters I want to be for Halloween were always white. Change me. So he wanted to be white. Now, people are using those tweets against him and pretty much been like, oh, well, he got what he deserves. What you get for messing with the white people, this is what happened to you, whatever. And it's like, it's one of those situations where I understand the feeling. Like, I understand you being like, well, you said all this wild stuff and then look at what happened to you. Yeah. But on top of that, there's a deeper, it's like the root of that is different than what you think it is. Because for one, it's almost like, it's stuff like that people do to try to justify when fucked up stuff happens to black people. Because at the end of the day, he could have been any other black person in the world.
Very true.
And they would have been doing the same nothing to try to get justice for them, just like they're doing for him. Which is crazy that y'all just like excusing that, because it's like, look, if you excuse that, then they're gonna be trying to find any kind of reason to, when this happens to somebody else, because it's gonna happen, unfortunately, they're gonna be like, well, y'all didn't care then, so don't care now, and then it's like you create that slippery slope for this to happen. But even worse than that, there's another issue with that I kind of wanted to like dig into a little bit about, like the self-hate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly he wasn't happy being a black person, and clearly, you know, he had a thing against against black women, you know what I'm saying? And it just sucks because stuff like this is common. First of all, those tweets were from when he was in high school. So he was still very young. You know, it's a lot about the world, a lot about himself that he didn't even know or understand. So for him making that, we're not gonna just act like he just knew exactly what he was doing. But it just sucks because, like, you know, this kind of self-hatred stuff is not an uncommon thing either. Where people speak against being black and black women, it's like they feel like they need some type of validation from white people. They feel like white people are better, which is crazy because that's kind of how the world tries to groom black people to think that white people are superior and they better, and then some of them end up folding and ended up being like Christian, and they talk down on black women, they talk down on themselves being black, and they talk down on all of that stuff. And they even think that them doing all of that makes them look better in white people's eyes. They think that it'll make white people accept them more, and then we see the harsh reality based off of what happened to him, that it does not work like that. So I had to say that first.
You really don't think because he was in high school he knew what he was doing?
Sure. I'm not going to, because I was smart in high school. I'm not saying he wasn't smart. I'm just saying that, like, for him thinking that, we know that children are extremely malleable. So whatever you put in front of them, they're going to soak it up like a sponge, and they're going to internalize it in the only ways that they know how. And because they're still learning about the world, they're going to accept certain things as like, this is what it is. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff that I've known and thought when I was like 14, 15, that later on, learning more about life outside of like the United States, outside of Chicago, outside of other, you know what I'm saying, places like my culture, and you start to realize how some stuff, like, you have to unlearn certain shit. So I'm saying for him, I know that I could tell he was around a lot of white people. So I know they had an influence on him thinking that about himself and about black girls. And just the way that stuff is portrayed in media, the way that it's like propaganda. Like, they want you to think that stuff. So that's why I'm like understanding that first, and knowing that even as a person that's smart enough to understand concepts, you might not have enough life experience to know that they want you to think like this, and you're pretty much doing what they want you to do. I'm not excusing it, but I gotta put that in there because I know that has a lot to do. It's a difference if he was like 25 doing that shit. Then it's just like, brother, you lost.
Right.
You lost, and you tweaking, because I know you know enough to know better. But as a little kid, I'm just like, I want to give him a little bit more leeway, because I know that there's a chance that later on in life he could learn how fucked up that was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of a chance when you saying that stuff as a younger person than when you are as an older person, as an adult. You know what I'm saying? But and more so to act like that was just like, you know what I'm saying, the excuse to not care about him getting killed by this woman and not getting justice for that is brazen. And even aside from that though too, because he said those tweets when he was like in high school, like 10 years ago. So he probably still felt the same way. That's why
10 years later, he probably
10 years later, that's why he was with this fucking white girl.
Yeah.
That's why he was with her. It just sucks though that, like, I don't know. It takes a different kind of person to try to even reach him, to know that, to get him to know where he went wrong in the way that he thought about black people, because essentially it did end up costing him his life. And it's like him thinking like that initially. No regular black person I know, me included, I'm on a regular day, I'm not gonna try to change his mind.
Yeah, nah. Those are definitely one of those people that you just, it's kind of like you listen to them, and then it's like, all right, this is honestly how you truly feel. It kind of reminds me of special guest we had a few years ago on a show.
Yeah.
What was my man's name?
Brandon.
I forget. What was his name?
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon. That's, you know, the therapist people's right there. It kind of reminds me of that. What was with his thought process, you know, about black people and white people. Like you pointed out, I was thinking, like, you know what, he probably did attend like an all-white school, but there was probably a point where he attended, you know, public school to where majority was black folks, and he, you know, experienced that, and his parents probably took him out of there to put him in a better system to where he can get a better education, which, you know, to me, I always feel as though it's kind of like, I never really understand why a lot of parents kind of shit on students that attend, you know, public school and feel like they're not getting a better education and whatnot. What they don't understand is kind of like, you know, you're putting your child in a position to where if it's just majority white folks, you're now putting your child in an uncomfortable situation
Stay in
to
that
where
bubble.
they're not even like learning anything. They're pretty much getting teased, tormented on a day-to-day basis. So do you really think that they're going to school to learn? No, they're going to school because they got a target on the back.
They're gonna think they're an exception.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he probably was also one of those people that probably thought he was better than black people he was around, just because a lot of the white people around, quote unquote, accepted him.
Right.
And it wasn't like they accepted him. They was just like, well, we just cool with you because you let us talk shit about your people.
Oh yeah.
And you start to think that your people are the things that we say, even though not realizing that you're talking about yourself.
Pretty much.
And
because they're not gonna have your back.
what Hov say? I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay.
Man.
And now you end up seeing what happens, and it's just like, bruh, man.
So you don't see this white girl getting charged? I don't see it happening either. They will either she'll lie and try to say it was self-defense, and they'll probably just leave it at that and not really try to get any more detail to actually see, you know, what really stemmed from this stabbing. You know, prayers goes out to the family, right? And I get it. Like you said, people, you know, will try to pull up whatever they can on you, even when they're digging up information about you. Yes, it's extremely insensitive. Young kid did lose his life.
Yeah, man.
Black man at that, at the hands of a white woman. But then it's just like, well, this is what you wanted. Now, I'm sure he didn't want to lose his life.
Right.
But at the same time,
he wanted to be with this white woman.
Wanted to be with this white woman. And if something were to happen, we already know the police, the justice system is going to be on the white woman's side more than the black man's side. We've seen this.
It's one of them.
One too many times.
One too many times, man. It's one of them things where it's like you see a person where they have to learn the lesson the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the hard way was him. You know, him losing his life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like also one of them situations where it's like two things can be true. He is still a black. He is still a black man.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't just act like he isn't just because he didn't fuck with black people like that. Because on the same side, nothing happening to him by him being murdered by a white woman affects us. The ones that actually are like, damn, bro, we mad you felt how you felt and we can't even have as much sympathy for you as we like because you kind of brought it upon yourself.
Yeah.
But as much sympathy as we can have for you, we have to advocate for your justice. Mm-hmm. So it's one of them situations where now that, you know, us still being here and him being gone, it puts us in this position where it's like, God damn, bro, like we mad as hell that we gotta do this because you were saying shit that you were saying. But we still gotta do this.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward situation.
It's extremely awkward because it's kind of like it's like for those who understand and love themselves, you know, being black and also love black women, it's kind of like, damn, bro, why? Like, why do you not love yourself being a black man? You know, why do you not love black women? You were brought into this world by a black woman.
You were.
And a black man. So where did that hate for you, for yourself, stem from? Where did that hate for black people in general come from?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's why I said it would have took a different kind of person, another kind of patience that would have been willing to take on that challenge to get him to unlearn the shit that he learned and makes him think the way that he thinks. Because that's really what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? That we can't overlook that. We also can't overlook all the shit that he did say because we know he probably still felt that way because he was still with his white woman 10 years after he made those tweets. Yeah. That's why I said it's one of them two things can be true situations where we gotta, now that he's gone, we still have to advocate for his death because that affects us. And hopefully other people that might think like he thinks can learn a lesson from this because it could very well be them, man. And we definitely don't want that to happen to nobody else.
Right. I guess the only thing we really can hope for is just that, like, they at least the family gets the justice that they're looking for and they feel they deserve. What really happened? What made her, stab him to death? What took place? Because there's always two sides to the story. But we can't, unfortunately, get the other half of the story from the person who was murdered. So we can only go based off of one story, one detail.
Yeah, man.
And unfortunately, it's the detail in the story that's not going to be on the side of the black community. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, man, it's a sticky situation.
It's a situation.
Yeah.
What we gonna do is we gonna continue to keep our ears to them streets. I'm gonna keep them clippers to them heads.
Mm-hmm.
And hold it down, my black men out there. Hold us accountable, hold us down. My black women, we are sorry that stuff like this happens. To slander y'all, you know what I'm saying? But please don't give up.
At all. Because y'all are definitely loved.
Please don't
I can
give
tell
up.
y'all that. We love y'all. If
Like I
anything.
said,
So effing classy, I love you.
we gonna hold you down, man.
We want to continue to hold it down.
And
Hell
next,
yeah,
we
man.
rock with y'all along the way. We forever will.
That's a whole fact. But listen, man, we always appreciate y'all getting in the mix. Continue to subscribe. Continue to pass it on. Have your friends subscribe. We doing things a little differently, y'all. We definitely appreciate the feedback that y'all always continue to give us and the ideas that we continue to come up with. So next week, we actually have special guests joining us because we're doing some little collaborating with some other folks who do some podcasts. So next week, we got somebody joining us, and she's been on the show with us before, man. So we got Cherry Poppins joining us. So be on the lookout for that because we want to have good episode with that. She already got a little topic of discussion in mind for us. I'm pretty sure she's gonna bring some crazy games for us to play around with as well.
We had fun last time.
Definitely did have a good time. So looking forward to that in the following week, man. We got a podcast team that's going to join us as well. So listen, I'm telling y'all, we doing things a little differently, but we appreciate the support and feedback. And
I gotta stay tuned.
Gotta stay tuned because we about to head into the summertime. And we out here, and it's a lot of events that's gonna be coming up. And
it's gonna get different in the summertime.
Y'all know the mix is gonna be in the mix for sure. But it's your big dog K6, Chi-Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, no Leah, aka the therapist. But we always gonna hold it down and always behind the scenes. Your girl so effing classy, aka so effing glassy, aka so effing crafty. I mean, you name it. 3 names in one, jack of all trades,
etc., etc.
I know how we do, man. Until next time, we out of here.
Max, and the mix, in the mix, Carlton, Leah, K6 in the mix.